Hey everybody, so welcome back to another IPO watch. It's been a while since we did one, so we will be addressing potentially some of your questions that you have about Panda Eco System Berhad. Now, as of this recording, actually we'll just be 1 day shy of the announcement of their price per share and their market cap. So we do not know what they are yet. However, we have some predictions that we would like to make. So as you can see here, they have 671.2 million shares. We will share with you what we think the company should be valued at. And then by extension, what the market cap is going to be.
Make sure to stay tuned at the end of the video.
So relatively simple. This is the business. You can pause and read through everything. Essentially, they call themselves omni-channel engagement. What it really means is that it helps companies, businesses, manage their HQ, some of their stock operations, their inventory and all that, and of course some of the finance part, right? This would be your point of sale systems, collect data, manage the data, present the data easily. Basically, it's a back end for a lot of the resource planning that companies actually use.
So what they want to do is to help grocery store owners to actually tabulate their data more efficiently and more fast. So with this software that they sell to these grocery stores, they can save a lot of time and potentially costs in their business operation.
If I remember correctly, according to their website, they have almost 30 plus customers.
Actually, there's more than that.
There's more than that, right?
It's a lot of grocery stores.
So anyways, we won't go too much into this.
Before that, just want to share with you guys. So there's actually two types of revenue model. They have one-off and recurring. So one-off is basically they sell the software license to their customers. Basically, it's a once-off thingy. But where they can get the recurring income is that, let's say if the customer use that one-off services from them, then they want to reuse the software from Panda, right? So they have to resubscribe again. So that's where they can have a recurring nature. And then they also got share with you guys that which is a yearly renewal, which one is they do it for monthly renewal. So there's these three types, different types of product and services that they offer for their clients with different revenue model. And
what do they exist, I guess? What happens when stores don't have their system?
And this one, before we go into that, I just want to share, when I was visiting their website, right, it's actually pretty decent because I think their copywriting skill is very good.
They review quite a lot, actually.
And you see, all of the concerns, right, they will address it in their website. So they will say that, oh, we are sorry that your system is currently offline. We have to perform manual checkout for you. If this is what's happening to you, you need to use our product. So it's a very good copy. And then there's a lot of pain points that they address, and then they say why you need to use their product. And I feel that their website is pretty
It's well done by Malaysian standards.
It's very well done. The marketing team is pretty good. And so this one is more on their value chain. So they are the developer. They help to develop this software. So they have hired those software engineers to actually develop that product. And they also will help to implement and also integrate this software in their customers' premises. So that is basically their role in this value chain. Okay, so this is
what it looks like.
Visually, this is what it looks like. You can see that this is one of their product, which is the ActBridge B2B. This one is when they are having when they want to communicate with their supplier, with the customer. So that is how they can get to know their information in-house and whatnot. And then there's also another one, which is their HQ centralized management. That is their key product that they sell a lot. And basically what is that is your CRM is to collect data, know how many customers coming in, coming out, which product are they buying the most. So all of that they manage to capture and is centralized inside their software.
So they are mainly they are Malacca based and Malacca founded, so shout out to Malacca. But they are also in areas like Johor, KL, KK, and Kuching. Mostly these are service hubs, and as far as when it comes to delivery, it's Johor basically. This is their customers. Sorry, so I said 30, obviously wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9,
80.
10, 80.
Maybe much more. They just lay a foot inside.
You might be familiar with some of them, but you see they're actually more tier 2. They don't go for the bigger
yes,
companies.
Actually there is
one.
Village Grocer.
Okay, big and Village Grocer there as well. Not bad.
Village Grocer, Emart, it's got big players. Okay, so some of the stats is that in total they have about 1,303 retail stores. They managed to capture these customers from over 130 retailers. So you can see from the picture, obviously it's more than that. They have two service hub inside Indonesia and one in Brunei. So in their prospectus, they mentioned they want to grow even more in Indonesia, and they don't plan to grow more in Brunei because Brunei is a very small population, so they don't want to do that. And then another one, they have about 2,500 suppliers who registered in their X-Bridge B2B solution, which is pretty decent. And their employees is very small only organization. They only hire software development engineers and also mainly customer technical support who needs to maintain the software that they have. And then there's a few B2P operations, CRM and e-store operation, and also the business development and project delivery. Okay, this is the segment breakdown. It's a very, I'll say it's a here and there kind of like information, but basically you want to know that each of these products, they have one-off and recurring. So you can see that at the moment, there's one-off. Majority is contributed by the HQ store and financial management solution.
Roughly, this is about between a third to 50%.
Yes, correct. So and then also the recurring side is getting quite a bit because of the one-off that they managed to sell. So after they sell that one-off, right, customers want to reuse their products again. So that creates a stickiness to not switch to their competitors. And yeah, once they are comfortable with using their software, they will definitely want to use it again. So yeah, you will see the recurring side of things will increase. But if you look at the other things, which is your X-Bridge, that one is related to their supplier. Not so good in terms of growth, but then the recurring nature is starting to increase quite a bit. And then you can see that there's a different types. Also, there's the Omni and the outright sales. This one is basically do some tradings in terms of your hardware and software.
So the unit economics really cool. So you can see it's quite straightforward, right? The most efficient one is X-Bridge.
The reason why it looks efficient because this is based on registration, not based on customer. So registration, it could mean that one supplier has a lot of like registration. That kind of it means. They didn't really break down, or maybe they did, but then they didn't disclose like some of the years they didn't put like how many customers registered during that year. So I decided to use registration instead. And you can see that the number of people buying their one-off from the HQ store financial is growing. Recurring also is growing because of the number of one-off increase. But what is interesting is that this omni-channel, you can see that the average selling price increases even though the number of clients decrease. So it's pretty inconsistent, but you can see that there's some sort of like increasing in terms of average selling prices, which is pretty interesting.
It's not so clear cut that it's a smooth up.
Correct.
I think that's important to know.
Yeah, but if you look at their core one, right, it's actually going down. So I'm not sure whether their pricing power is actually getting diminishing over time. But this is something that I will definitely ask the management when I meet them.
Yep.
Okay. This one is basically the entire revenue by segment compounded all together. So you can see that mainly they sell computer software. That is the huge chunk of revenue, followed by their subscription fee. The hardware is more on if let's say the customer requested them that they want the certain hardware, they'll help them to order, or they will trade it through the third party. And then there's also the maintenance fee, which is also a recurring in nature when they need to fix their software. Okay, so major customer, this one is more interesting because you can see that there's two major customers that has been pretty recurring. They have been paying Panda Eco System quite a bit. So number one is TF Value Mart. So TF Value Mart, if you didn't know, it is by Village Grocer. So yeah, they have been one of the major customer, and followed by this TF Group also is one of them also. Bataras Sendian Berhad, this I'm not too sure, but then they are the one of the few customer that has been using their software for quite some time lah. And you can see the rest is all like a one-off. They don't really like renew after that.
Village Grocer is interesting. I don't think we are able to know. If you go to Village Grocer, we won't be able to find the name Panda Eco or X-Bridge.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless there's a watermark lah, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
So
okay.
cost.
Yeah, cost breakdown. So majority of them, they buy your IT software and also to pay their staff costs. So it's basically these two major costs only. Yeah. That's it.
They pay out about $1 million. Oh no, less than $1 million, about 700,000 in commissions.
Yeah, correct.
Every year.
I think like not sure this is for the sales side or for the customer. If let's say maybe some sort of rebates or something, it could be. Because it's still a cost.
I want to highlight here that actually 2022, I'm not sure if you said it already, but 2022's figures are not complete.
Yeah.
They are until only
September.
Yeah, 9 months. By the time you watch this tomorrow, it will be...
Maybe it could be a full year.
Yeah, they might show you the full year. But at this pace, it looks like the staff cost actually will reduce in 2022.
Yeah. If it keeps up like that, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's... Or maybe they give a big bonus at the end of the year.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, they did mention that they give bonus during that year.
So we do expect when we look at all the different revenues, so hold on. We do expect it to grow by at least, from my eyeballs, right, maybe almost close to 20%.
10%, 20%. Yeah, that's the rough. That's rough.
So that's what we expect. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
We just have to make certain predictions.
Correct. So this is just the cost. And then the major supply, you can see also some of the well-known names that I've highlighted. So VSTech is one of them. It's the same for CloudPoint and a few tech companies that recently went to IPO. You can see some of the suppliers' name. You notice VSTech is a part of the major supplier. AutoCount also is one of them, because if let's say their customer wants AutoCount services, so that's where they actually buy from AutoCount and then they sell it to them. Now, why I highlighted eTech is because eTech is a related party transaction. The two major shareholders actually have 11% stakes in, but they don't handle the operation, but they still have shares inside. So it's a RPT that you need to know. And also, one more thing is the number of costs that they have been buying a lot from the suppliers, which is from eTech, which is from themselves. Yeah. Okay, the team here are a lot of Chinese names. You can see over here. So number one, we have here the majority shareholder. We have Lu Chi-wei and Tay Keng Sing.
Go Coin Capital.
Yeah, that is the subsidiary name for them. Go Coin Capital. And Mr. Lu is the CEO. Mr. Tay is the CTO. And the remaining here is your senior management. Some of them maybe is the wife or spouse. Yeah.
So the interesting thing here would be, okay, it doesn't really change too much. Initially, I thought that at least the one here, I think when you add them all up, it's about 5, slightly above 5. I thought they would subscribe more to the IPO, but oh wells.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the directors, this is some of his background. He's 53 years old, still pretty young. Lu Chi-wei. He started off as a credit analyst in CIMB, but back then it wasn't called CIMB, it's called something else. I forgotten what's the name. Yeah, it's in the 90s already. So yeah, and then he slowly climbed up the corporate ladder to become the relief assistant branch manager. He's a pretty hungry guy. And then after that, he resigned and he joined his family-owned store manager. Yeah, as a manager in Jiaxing Shopping Center. And then he became the director. And during his tenure of working inside this Jiaxing shopping center, right, he saw an opportunity in the retail management solution. So back then, I think there's not many people using this kind of solution. So he basically wanted to partner with the current CTO in 2003. And that's where they founded the product of the Rex Bridge.
So they really need for the long term as far as, being in the business. I mean, it's at least 20 years.
20 years. Yeah, exactly.
Right. They're not upstarts or anything.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the CTO, also about the same age, which is actually 2 years older only. He is engineer by heart, software engineer by heart. He started off as a production engineer, then officer in purchasing department. Then after that, he co-founded this KK Computer with his spouse, Bong Kok Chu, which is also the part shareholder over here. You can see she owns about 1.7%. And yeah, and he co-founded with Mr. Lu on the Rex Bridge and O2O Digital. And some of the senior management that you may want to know also, it is Mr. Bong Kok Chu, Lu Xiaochun, and also Kiao Yun, who they all are the business development director in these small little subsidiaries.
They are almost all related except Kiao.
Yeah, correct, except for Kiao. So you can see Miss Bok is the wife to the CTO, Miss Lu is the sister to the CEO, and yeah, and then the other one is just a marketing guy. Yeah, and this is just their salary. Just want to share. They have 6 to 7 figure salary when working in this Panda ecosystem, and on top of that, their average cost per share that they are holding right now is actually around 0.0005. Yeah, it's a pretty small sum. And so once they launch IPO, right, the average cost, we shall see how much is it. Our prediction, we'll review it at the end of the video. It's actually going to be a multiple fold for them. once it goes IPO. Okay, there's a few RPT that you need to know, which is related party transaction. So number one
this is in the whole year, right?
Yeah. So this one is basically total up everything, the places that they rent to is about 115,000. And about that total rent per year, half of it is actually owned by the CEO and CTO. So yeah, there is some sort of RPT.
But
They are the landlords.
It's pretty small.
Yeah. Correct.
It's actually quite common that this happens. What you look for is you want to make sure that for that area, because they were reviewed where the area is, you want to look at the per square footage. You don't want it to be, too high.
Yeah.
Basically.
Correct.
So whether it's high or not, well, we have to see lah, right?
Yeah, you have to see based on the per square foot rental. And the second RPT, it is the e-tech that just now we talked about, the major supplier, right? So the e-tech is the distributor of ICT products to Panda Eco System. So you can see here, GoCoin Pavilion is actually owned by Mr. Lu and also Mr. Tay. They are under GoCoin Pavilion. They own about 11.1%, but they got clarified that they don't handle the day-to-day operation of this e-tech. They are just buying it from them. So that's about it. I can see that it's actually pretty consistent in terms of the RPT. It's a very recurring related party transaction. Okay, industry, a very quick one. Basically, the retail management software is growing. Although they didn't really disclose what is the penetration rate or adoption rate of this retail management solution. So that is something that we need to know. We need to ask the CEO and CTO what is the TAM for this. But so far, the growth rate, it looks pretty positive. It's growing about 18.8% over the 4-year CAGR until 2022. And this is also some of the interesting stats, which is the number of retail stores. So you can see Malaysia in total, there's about 214,000 to now 218,000 in 2022, 1.5 million for Philippines and 4.3 million in Indonesia. But you can see the number of stores in Indonesia recently dropped is because of COVID and more people are using online.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then this is the sales. You can see that the sales is growing quite a lot for Malaysia, about 256 billion, but it's still pretty small if compared to Philippines and Indonesia, which is about 2x to 4x even bigger. Yep. And just a quick one which is the retail sales per store. You can see that Malaysia right now per store, they are spending quite a lot, which is 1.2 million because of the number of stores we have is very little as compared to Philippines and Indonesia.
Two things. One is fewer stores and also per capita income is a lot higher in Malaysia as well. So this is within expectations.
Yes, exactly. But if let's say the number of stores starts to grow, then maybe we shall see this number to drop a bit. Okay, peers. So there's about 70 over companies that do this retail management software. They also develop and some they source from the third-party software to help them do the services. And so far, we are comparing between 16 companies. So 16 out of 70 have revenues above 3 million, which is about similar to Panda. And they're also doing similar products and services like Panda Ecosystem.
So you can say they are around the top, I want to say 25% of companies.
Yeah, we can see over here. So they are actually the top 3 in terms of revenue out of these 16 companies. Okay. Yeah, correct. And also because a lot of these companies offer different services, not only just retail management software. Yeah, so there's a lot of things. But then Panda managed to capture about 7.1% market share in the retail management solution space in Malaysia itself only.
And they have the highest PAT margins, it seems.
PAT margin.
Oh no, there's one higher.
Correct.
As far as the top 5,
it's more or less the same. Yeah, correct. The top 5 they are pretty well managed. They didn't really own much of an asset. That's why I think margins also can be quite high. It's more just service based only. Okay, quick check on these numbers. Right, so far they have been very profitable. Everything is growing. 60% margin. Actually, it's around like 58%. You can notice that the margins for the 2022 numbers is dropping because it's just September only. If we see the full year, probably is about the same. A little bit concerned on the PAT margin though. So this one is something that you need to know. But all in all, it's just very profitable. Also cash generative. Their services is just, once they sell, they collect money. And then it's basically just that. The cash conversion cycle is very small for this type of business. And they don't really need much loan also to begin with. Again, cash flow also is very good. You can see that CapEx, is essentially just minuscule. They just need to hire more people and maybe rent more places. That's it. And that's why you can see free cash flow is very good. Dividend is one of this year in 2021, they paid quite a huge sum. This I need to ask the management why they are paying over their profit. So this is something that we need to find out from the management itself. ROIC so far also has been pretty good also because this is a service-based business. So 40 to 70% is not that surprising. So yeah. Okay, I added this impairment risk because this is a company where their revenue can actually get impaired. So their allowance for doubtful debt is actually pretty high, about 48%. But they managed to drop it down a little bit in 2022.
I think what's worth noting is that even though it's like that, it's very rare to see a situation where there are 80 over customers, but they also have almost 80 competitors.
70. Yeah.
It's quite rare, usually. However, I would add that since majority of it come from places like Village Grocer and all that, there's going to be a little bit of imbalance.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to favor Village Grocer a bit more, right? Because there are quite a few of these types of companies in the market like Panda Eco, but fewer Village Grocer types, right? The one you can think of is maybe Jaya Grocer, maybe Carrefour's not here, maybe Lotus.
99 Speed Mart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all, it's only a handful, no more than 10. So it will be a bit higher. But of course, it's very hard to go bankrupt as a grocery store, especially of that size.
Yeah.
And the bigger they are, typically, the less likely they're going to go bankrupt. So this risk, while it's probably on the higher side, I don't think it's as risky.
Yeah. And also because the allowance for doubtful debts is only like less than 10%.
Yeah.
So the majority of still comes in cash.
Right.
Okay, turnover just now I mentioned also is very fast.
Fast,
yeah, cash collection cycle, everything is like within 10 days you already can collect the entire cash once they provide their services. So it's pretty good. Growth and risk. So right now, as was this recording, you don't know how much they are spending, but tomorrow maybe you will know how much is it.
I think the biggest I'm going to predict that it's going to be the business expansion side.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be more on this one, the
maybe
business
working capital, these two. Since staff cost is their biggest.
Yes, exactly. Growth strategy. So they did mention that they want to venture into this cloud-based. Actually, they are already currently doing it already. It's just a very small amount. So they want to accelerate and make it more bigger. Cloud-based module, and also do this e-invoicing financing, which is for the customers' suppliers. So cause some of the suppliers, when they pass on the product to the customers, right, sometimes they don't get paid. They get an invoice. So they can actually offer this type of services where they can finance from the financial institution.
What's important to add is also that the government insists that companies above a certain revenue needs to have invoicing.
Yeah, correct.
I think it's like 50 million, something like that.
Yeah.
So this is definitely
100 million, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a tailwind for
this kind of software business. And not only that, they want to expand even more in KL and Penang. I believe Penang, they don't really have much of a presence because I don't see the name in it a lot. But KL definitely they have. So Penang is one of the places they want to go. They want to add 47 more people, 19 software engineers, 28 CTS, and 2 more new service hub in Indonesia and Philippines, which is a new place that they haven't ventured into. So the catalyst, like just now what MJ said, is one of it is the budget 2024, which is 100 million digitalization grant. Basically, they're going to give SMEs money to actually buy or subscribe to these software solutions. So definitely it will benefit Panda ecosystem a lot. And another one is everything adoption, which is basically you want to make things more efficient, more AI driven. So that's why you need some everything adoption in the future. Moat is definitely high switching costs. Once you're using their software, it's hard for you to replace with another software guy because you have to migrate every data into that new platform. So,
and of course, I'm not a user of it, but it seems to me that this is also true for the other competitors, right? So if they want to improve this, they really need to think hard about what are the add-on benefits. Now, of course, again, I don't manage a grocery store.
Yeah. So
I wouldn't know exactly how this software can make my life easy.
Correct.
But that's the whole idea, is to make life easy for
Exactly.
software costs.
So when you mention that you don't know how is it going to make your life easier, that's why they are hiring a lot of these marketing people also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the marketing guys will help to increase their brand name.
Yeah.
And hence.
But I
sales
think it's more
potentially.
important, not just me as a customer, but also as if I own Village Grocer, for example, how can I improve the experience? So some of you all may know this. So Village Grocer has this other app called Bytes.
Okay.
So it's like a barcode that you can scan. And every time you scan it, you will receive points, right?
Yeah.
Improving on that part. I'm not sure if they are also involved in the Bytes app.
No, I'm.
But if that's going to be part of it, because it should be, because that factors into the discounts of their point of sale system. Because after you spend a certain amount, you get a discount. So improving on that software, creating the back end to support this sort of things, I think that's going to be crucial.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of integration they need to do for their customers. But that creates a moat for them also. So the risk, there's a lot of risk. So number one is cyber security breach. This one is very normal. Somebody hacked, then GG. The other one is pricing power. There's a lot of competitors, so I'm not sure whether they can continue to charge a higher price to their customer to retain them. And obviously, they don't have any long-term contract. Most of their contract is less than 1 year. And also, they have high impairment risk, but then this one may be quite minuscule because about 10% or less than that is actually under the provisions of doubtful debts as compared to the revenue. And the last one is the absence of this MDS, which is your pioneer status. So they have this tax exemption by the government where they can exempt quite a huge chunk of tax because they are in this digital space. But if let's say they don't renew it, then their tax.
I would just want to add that the risk for the long-term contracts is, I don't think it's as big as it seems, simply because why do you need a long-term contract if the products that you create is sticky already? It's like, do you have a long-term contract with Microsoft Office?
No.
Right? But then why do I've been using Excel longer? Some people will literally use Excel longer than their mortgage.
Yep.
Right? Why? Because the product sticky is good.
Correct. But on the downside is that, sometimes when you want to use this Microsoft, right, there's a way to get it.
Yeah, for counterfeit.
For counterfeit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But that is a sign. That is a successful company problem.
Yeah.
It's like Adobe, Microsoft, all these websites.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we come to the end, which is our estimates for this company. So we're gonna be prorating their financial 2022 numbers, profits to about 8.3 million. So we shall see whether how far or close is it tomorrow. And we are gonna use AutoCount's valuation. Actually, AutoCount is around like 13 times, but we just want to give them a slightly premium because of the services that they offer is quite a lot, and the market they're going to penetrate is also quite huge. That will bring you about a market cap of 124 million and a share price of about 18 cents per share.
So either we look really smart or really stupid by the time you watch this video.
Correct. But I believe it's not going to be too far off from this number. So yeah, it's going to be plus minus more or less. Okay, so FIRL Pro, this is our October's performance. So far has been pretty good. I mean, if you attended our yesterday's webinar, the 10x return in 2024, we share a lot of our case study from our FIRL Pro as well as our Catalyst portfolio. So I hope that you guys managed to get a lot of value from there. And yeah, so far our performance has been pretty good, 60% and 14%. And if you don't know about our FIRL Pro program, is we write you 2 reports minimum per month on companies that we have high conviction on. And sometimes these companies, we have ownership in it and we will share it to our members as well. Yep. So it's basically just a program for you to cut short your research time. And if you want to know more about this program, we have this free sample for you. And you can check out how we write our reports and also our SIP program. One of the video, we will share it inside over there also. So you can find the links in the description and comments below.
Yep, I think with that, thanks Jonathan for the interesting research on Panda Eco. Hope you have been educated on the company. If you decide to subscribe, hopefully now you are more aware of the risks and rewards of the company. Now, regardless, guys, thanks for staying all the way until the end. Always a pleasure doing videos for you guys. Peace.